Joining me right now, all the way from Orlando, Florida, Utica native, and I'm sure Utica's still in your heart. It's Dan Brigano. First of all, I want to say my condolences from everybody here in Central New York, from your hometown, for you and the community in Orlando, Florida, affected by this attack. Just what's it been like down there over the past week and a few days?
From the day it happened, when we all found out about it till now, it's just been a complete 180-degree turn. You know, everyone was completely devastated, heartbroken. They still are, but we're looking for ways, how do you move forward? You know, try to find the silver lining behind it. And that's the hard part. You know, when you're looking at such major tragedy that has happened, you know, think about 9/11. You know, how do you look at the positive behind that? Mm-hmm. And that's really a struggle that we're dealing with right now. Me personally, I think the silver lining behind it, the beauty, the positive behind it is it's bone-chilling, and it was completely rewarding, and I was honored to be part of the Orlando Vigil the next day. You know, thousands and thousands of people, gay, straight, lesbian, you name it, black, white, all coming together to support this, and it was a huge eye-opener to globally.
Whenever there's a tragedy like this, and you mentioned 9/11, whenever there's a tragedy like this, it seems we as a country come together. Have you noticed maybe more positive support from aspects of life that you didn't think would ever start to really get behind and stand and support the gay community? Have you seen that at all?
I have noticed it a little bit, just little things. People noticing and, you know, who we are and, you know, just crossing paths and holding doors open or just smiles and it makes you stop and think.
Now, Dan, did you know anybody that worked at Pulse?
One of my friends, a good friend who was an employee of Pulse, he was one of the bartenders. Mm-hmm. When the shooting happened, he ran from behind his bar into the dressing room, and him and 7 other people, employees of the club, were in the dressing room while the shooter was in the bathroom.
Wow.
And they were in there for over 2 hours, and they crawled through the AC unit.
Now you've been in this club before, and that's one of the things I wanted to get into is that I had first realized your connection to the club because we're friends on Facebook, and I had seen in my feed that you were in there the Tuesday before the attack. So
I was there Tuesday and Wednesday. Myself personally, my connection with the club is when I moved here, to make a long story short, but when I moved here from New York to Florida, I moved to Tampa. And in January, I moved from Tampa to Orlando, and I bartend in the scene, whether it's bars in Orlando and Tampa. Now, one of my friends who's a bartender at Pulse, the one who was in the dressing room, him and I talked a few weeks back, and he was saying how a bartender got fired from there. And so I said, please let me get in there. You know, I don't want to keep driving back to Tampa every weekend to commute. I'd rather stay locally in Orlando, save the drive, and just be at local bars in Orlando.
Yeah. So you were applying to work at Pulse?
I was going to.
Oh, wow.
They had a meeting with us. They talked to me last Wednesday, the last night I was in the club, and they said they were going to have a manager's meeting Monday, which was 2 days after the shooting.
I can never see this happening to me or to somebody close or somewhere I used to work. What is that feeling like for you? Is it like eye-opening? Does it give you a sense of an awareness now or a fear?
Not a fear at all. That's the last thing. And the last thing I want myself or any I mean, you go out to clubs, you know, whoever, gay, straight, whatever. Right. I don't want anybody to be afraid. The evil behind it is they want us afraid. They want us to hide.
Right.
And that's the last thing I want to do. You know, the selfless thing for me to say is I wasn't victimized. I don't want to say I was victimized because I physically wasn't in the club that night. Mm-hmm. But when my friends and family and everybody are saying, like, thank God you're okay, prayers to you, it's like, no, like, I'm completely fine. Like, prayers go to the victims of Saturday night at Pulse. And I just pray for their families, and I can't even imagine what they're going through.